Retrospective Show.
For a retrospective show.
The Horror Retrospective Show.
Hello, lovelies. So today we are doing a channel collaboration for Tales of Halloween, the 2015 film. So we have a few guests dropping by and sharing their thoughts. We have a couple of people that submitted videos, and I am also joined by the lovely Ethel Cross.
Ethel Cross here. I do movie watch-alongs and discussion panel type things. Haven't seen me? Check me out. This is my intro.
Okay, so first off, we have thoughts on Sweet Tooth.
Hi guys, we're going to be taking a look at Sweet Tooth. Now I made a few notes, so just bear with me a second. Basically a young boy's eating candy, sweets, Halloween, as you do. He's also watching Night of the Living Dead on TV, the black and white classic from George Romero. And throughout this, the characters are watching Night of the Living Dead throughout this short, which lasts for about 10 minutes. Basically, the young lad, his babysitter and her boyfriend tell him about the story of Sweet Tooth to get him to go to bed, and then the couple end up eating all the candy and sending the poor lad to bed, traumatised from a story that they told him for Halloween about Sweet Tooth, who gets his candy taken away and goes on a murderous rampage. The story being told. Later in the night, the young boy wakes up and he sees or hears something out the window. Again, set to the Night of the Living Dead. Sweet Tooth comes to actual life itself as a creature, like a clown type creature sort of thing. And Sweet Tooth comes to life and attacks the boyfriend and girlfriend. Lesson learned here is not to steal candy. This is quite a fun film, short film within the film itself. It's around about 10 minutes long. It's quite gory, messy. The effects aren't bad, but they are just bloody. And it's just a good fun moral lesson as to don't steal candy. And don't, go to bed at night, and don't steal candy, and basically just don't steal candy, especially from kids, psychopathic kids or psychopathic clown monsters sort of thing. And don't watch it tonight of the Living Dead either, because whatever's happening on TV probably will happen in real life as well. So it's a cool little short. I do recommend it. Was fun to watch and to experience in Tales of Halloween from 2015. Do recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this little summary of it, and check out Sweet Tooth. Don't get tooth decay. Don't get slaughtered either. Yeah.
The second story in this anthology is The Night That Billy Raised Hell. What were your thoughts on this one?
Actually, this is one of the ones I liked. I got the hint of where it was going towards the end, but I still liked it because it was funny, And the only thing I didn't like was the devil guy leering at people, which is like, okay. I didn't remember the devil being so horny, but I mean, I guess he would be. He's a devil. Cool. I liked the reveal at the end where it's like, oh, it's the little devil guy. It's a frame up.
Yeah, I thought this one was really good. I enjoyed a lot of the humor. It's very tongue-in-cheek. So the basic story for this one is it's a little boy who gets talked into, it's a tradition to prank Mr. Abaddon and do all of this horrible stuff, not realizing that he actually is a demon. And of course, those of you who study the occult, Abaddon is an actual demon. So they took a real name, kind of like a little peek. For those of you who are in the know, you already know that this little boy is in the wrong. This one was like really lighthearted, even though it was very mischievous. And then we have this little imp at the end, which we realized was wearing the costume the whole time the little boy was tied up in the room.
Funny because it was foreshadowed that the mom was kind of a sleut because she was dressing provocatively the previous Halloween.
You know, your mother's going to have a lot more free time on her hands now. I just want you to know that I plan to be here for her.
Why, hello there, it is I, Random Horror. So, I want to say thanks to Horror Retrospective for having me on here. It's, I'm honoured, and yeah, so basically we're all talking about the horror anthology Tales of Halloween, and it's an anthology horror with 10 shorts, horror shorts on there. And the one I want to talk about is the third segment, Trick. This one is follows, four friends having a night in. It's Halloween, they're answering the door to trick-or-treaters, and it looks harmless until one kid dressed as a witch, doesn't want a treat but a trick. And then we find that she has a group of friends that are all little psychos, and they're all killing them all. And then when the last one is still about, in a big twist, it turns out that these four friends kidnap children and they torture them, remove their eyes or their tongues or make them bleed out so they can do sick, twisted Halloween photos. So then it's revealed that these kids are not psychotic killers, but they're saving their friend who these four friends kidnapped. So this one, I actually like this one. At first I thought it was just a slasher with evil children, but then the twist in it kind of made it their motivation is understandable. I mean, I do like a good twist in a horror, and I do like it when it's sometimes messed up and twisted and all psychotic. And this one I did enjoy. It was, I believe, just bear with me a second. Yeah, I've got the information here. This one was written by Greg Commons and directed by Adam Gearish. Is that how you say his name? And like I said, I've told you the whole plot to it and that. Also, these kids that we see in in this short, they do appear in the other various shorts throughout the film. And also, in some of the shorts, they all seem to be watching the same movie, that is George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. But yeah, like I say, I like this short in the movie. It's the one that got me thinking, that got me, that got me hooked in. The first two segments were good, I enjoyed them. But then they had this segment, which caught my attention, and then that's when I stopped messing about on my phone and actually, paid attention and kept watching on. This also features Adrienne Barbeau as a DJ. I think is she like the narrator or something. Either way, her time in it, this short is good. I mean, all the other segments and that, all the 10 shorts and that, all good. And I did want to discuss them all, but I'm only allowed to discuss at least one, and this is the one that I thought, yeah, I do like this one. So there you go. That's my segment. Well, that's my thoughts on the segment. If I had to rate it, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. But yeah, I thought this was a good one, and the young actors who played the kids, they were talented for their age, I gotta say. Even though they didn't do many lines, it was still a good one. So yeah, those are my thoughts anyway. So I want to say thanks once again to Horror Retrospective for having me feature on this and discussing the short. So yeah, as I say on my channel when I'm done, don't have nightmares.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Night from the Nightwatch Zone, and we're doing a discussion on Tales of Halloween. It's a really cool anthology movie I actually hadn't seen in a while, and thank you to Horror Retrospective for inviting me to talk about one of the shorts in this anthology. I think it had maybe been about, I don't know. It's been a few years since I've watched the whole thing, so this was actually cool to kind of revisit it. But the short that I wanted to talk about, I think it's maybe the fourth one. I think it's The Weak and the Wicked, and it's a very short one, but it's it pretty much it's pretty shocking. It's one of those shorts that kind of hits you from nowhere. You have these bullies that are coming after this kid in this dark alleyway. It's pretty atmospheric. And you've got the lead bully is this girl, and she's got two lackeys basically. And they come up to this kid and they're bullying him. And it gets to the point where she's going to take a cigarette and put it on his foot. They take his shoes off and his socks, and she's actually going to put the cigarette out on his foot and stop short of just doing that. Like, this is right in the beginning of the short, so I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty intense. But then you have this stranger that comes into the alleyway, and he's dressed in this odd costume, and he talks about the wicked will be punished if they prey on the innocent, and this and that. And so the bullies come up to him, and they're about to basically beat him up, and he has this drawing, and he's talking about this creature, this spirit of All Hallows Eve, that's basically going to have revenge or something like that. And the girl is looking at the picture of the creature, which is what this boy is dressed as, and drops the picture. And then all of a sudden they chase him. He runs away, and they chase him, a little bit of a distance, and they come up to this area. And then you kind of start to find out a little bit more what's going on, because it shows that these bullies, and they're in their teens, late teens or whatever, mid to late teens. And then they show these bullies as kids, like little kids, and they were assholes back then too. So they show them as little kids with this trailer, and this trailer is set ablaze, and you see the lighter in the girl's hand, and you realize that this boy who was basically dressed up as this creature, with this picture of this spirit, he was the boy who lived in that trailer. So his trailer got burned down by these bullies and killed his parents. So it's like, oh man, that really grabs you. It's pretty effective for a short story. And so then you have this flashback to when the girl took the picture from the boy, and you see on the back of the picture that there's these instructions that are in, like, I don't know if it was a different language or whatever, but anyways, basically instructions on how to summon this entity. And so, I'm watching this thing and I'm like, wow, this is really a pretty good setup. And so, long story short, the demon actually appears. The All Hallows Eve demon appears and takes out the two lackeys, and then you can hear the girl scream. And the demon looked, pretty good, for this type of movie where you just have a lot of different shorts involved in it. And it basically kills her, and you see this huge blood splatter go into the boy's face, and he smiles. Basically, he got his revenge. So it was a very short, but I think it was an effective story. And Tales of Halloween was pretty good. I think it had like 10 different stories, 10 different shorts, and most of them were pretty good. And this was one that really struck me as one to talk about. So, anyways, Kara, thanks for inviting me to do this. This was fun. It's always great to collab. And hopefully this will get people to want to check out this short and maybe the whole anthology of Tales of Halloween. So anyways, you guys take it easy. From the Nightwatch Zone, happy Halloween. Peace out, guys. See you later.
Hello, Spooky Fam. I'm Mercy Desdemona, and today we are going to be talking The Grinning Ghost. I apologize for my lack of face cam. The footage did not survive into editing, so here we go. In the movie Tales of Halloween, the Grinning Ghost story always stuck out with me. I'm not sure why most likely because it's one of those classic ghost tales, you know, that we all used to get together and read or discuss around a campfire. We are at a Halloween party and they begin to talk about the legend of Mary Bailey, who was a bullied person in her life, so she returns every Halloween to haunt and taunt the living. So, you know, everybody's having a good time, sharing ghost stories. We have our main character who, you know, got easily spooked, and on her way home, she has some car trouble. Now, I know this sounds like totally cliched. I agree, but like I said, it is a simple ghost story that stuck out amongst the rest of them for me. I do feel like the actress did a very good job in her portrayal of the character that she needed to. It wasn't too overacted like usual in like these horror anthologies where, you know, somebody's overacting and takes away from the story. Of course, we have, you know, our car troubles coming around, and again, I like that it wasn't too overacted. I've seen so many anthologies where the person just overacts and it kind of takes away from it and ruins even the simplest stories. So our main character here, Lynn, goes ahead and thinks she sees somebody and her car stops and she starts her journey and she gets to be visited by the ghost of Mary Bailey. Of course, she doesn't think that it's a ghost. She thinks that it's somebody in a costume, somebody playing a Halloween joke on her. You know, again, normal for the ordinary ghost story. However, these portrayals and these stories are very well put together. Now, the thing is that the old lady told them at the party the reason why people dress up for Halloween is so that way the ghosts and the spirits can't tell who is alive and who is dead. You know, so this character thinks it's basically just a story, our main character here. And she's frustrated, she's annoyed, she just wants to get home. She's had enough of the shenanigans after getting scared at the Halloween party, so she didn't think anything of it when she bumped into this really weird person. Now, I mean, I suppose you would guess that it was just a trick-or-treater or somebody coming home from a haunt and just having a ghoulish good time. However, there's just something eerie about them. The face, well, the mask, I should say, and the way that they looked at her and kept looking at her. The eyes are glowing. It's just a really eerie presence. Of course, again, Lynn doesn't think anything of it. She's had a rough night. But we already know there's something wrong with the way the camera pans to this individual. So our character, Lynn, here goes on and starts getting chased by the ghost of Mary Bailey. And of course she thinks, hey, when she gets home, it was just all in my head. It was all just a spooky good time. Let me relax with my doggo. And it turns out she did have a visitor, and it was Mary Bailey herself. And what I really enjoy is the makeup that they did for the character of Mary Bailey. I think it was very well done. I think it was a nice little shock factor, especially how quick this story ends. It gave you a, hey, whoa, what is that kind of moment? Like, did you really see that? Or was it not there, sort of thing? And these little classic cheesy ghost stories really need to make a comeback, I think. I hope you enjoyed this review of The Grinning Ghost. Again, I feel like this film is amazing with all its little stories, but this one is one where I feel like the least amount of overacting, which is something that I can deal with. So, have a good one and stay spooky.
So our next story is Ding Dong. This was one of my more favorite stories in the series. So I'm not really sure if they're having some sort of like a seance or some occult gathering, but yeah, we have this couple. The woman is dressed as a witch, and her husband, she's dressed as Hansel from Hansel and Gretel. They're passing out candy. We later discover that she wanted a child so badly, and her husband, I guess, protecting these potential would-be children, had a vasectomy, rendering her childless. Meanwhile, this poor woman, I imagine, agonized over wondering whether or not she was barren or what's wrong with her. I loved the witch design. I liked the cuts in between the spider type witch. She has multiple arms. I think her skin was red. She has the traditional candy striping on the leggings. I thought it was a pretty good story. What were your thoughts on this one?
I liked the story overall. It was definitely a cool witch design. Multi arms. That's a new one for witches. I hadn't seen that before, and I don't know. I felt bad for the husband halfway through because I'm like, geez, this poor guy. Like she just beats the crap out of him in the first scene. She just slaps his face with her nails and stuff. It's like, oh, God, it was pretty cool, and I like how she would switch back and forth between being a witch and being a normal person. And it's like, is everybody else seeing this, or is it just him who's seeing it? I'm like, are they going to go like a psychological route? But obviously not. It is a very simple story. Yeah, and it's there were a couple weird things about it. I don't want to spoil the ending, but I mean, you probably can see where it's going once you got him standing there dressed up as Hansel and saying, "I'm Hansel." It's like, yeah, someone's gonna get cooked in an oven. But
Yeah, I liked those witch insets, like or the cut-ins. Like it left me wondering, what is this? Does he actually know what she is, or is he in the dark? But yeah, she was definitely very predatory, like very vicious woman.
it leaves you wondering if she has a kid, is she gonna eat the kid like in the story, or what? Because like she makes the cookies, they're shaped like kids. Um, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe gingerbread men, but it's Halloween, so that's a weird thing to do. Spider Witch does whatever a spider witch can.
So our next short is Friday the 31st. This one was definitely, in my opinion, one of the more unique ones. It definitely threw a curveball at me. You have a woman who's wandering out on her own, dressed, I believe, I'm not sure if she's Dorothy, but she comes upon this masked killer who is very reminiscent of Jason Voorhees, and then all of a sudden we have an alien appear in the middle of this.
It was really weird. Like I didn't expect the alien thing to happen, and I'm like, you see the saucer, and you're like, oh my God, are they going to abduct wannabe Jason? Like, where are they going with this? And then, oh no, they're dropping their alien child off to go trick or treating, and you get the cutest little. I don't know if it was CGI or claymation or what, but oh my God, it was adorable. And then he steps on it. Surprise, surprise! Don't go stepping on aliens because they will possess your recently killed victim.
Kind of expected that to be the end of it, and then just becomes this whole crazy thing, kind of Evil Dead like, where they're just massacring each other, and it's just very crazy. I thought it was a fun one. I thought it was pretty good. I have no complaints on this. I definitely like that alien twist. I did not see that coming at all.
There, and the final battle between them is great because like he cuts her arm off, she cuts his arm off, he slices her in the neck, she slices him in the neck, and it's just blow for blow for blow for blow, and then they're both like body parts. This was one of the better ones in the anthology for sure. All right, and then we come to the next one, which was the ransom of Rusty Rex. It was it's kind of an interesting thing because you've got two guys planning a kidnapping in a typical kidnapper van. You got the windows blacked out. Okay, cool. And you expect that they're going to kidnap this kid. Well, he's like a little imp, a little devil creature. And how great is that?
They kidnap this creature, and then the guy's like, "No, you liberated me. I don't want it. Just remember to feed this little gremlin thing, otherwise it'll find its own food source."
Yeah, and it was nice. It was a nice twist because like you think, okay, so they've kidnapped this kid and they're gonna get the ransom. What kind of spin are they gonna put on it? And the guy's like, oh, you poor bastard, you don't know what you've done. And then he hangs up. It's like, what do you hang up? And they call him back a couple times, and then they realize, oh no, the kid's escaped. It's not a kid. He's a little devil, little demon thing.
But like even when parents describe their own badly behaved children, like, oh yeah, so and so's a little devil. This one actually is one.
A literal little devil. And like it was funny because like they get to the tar pits, and I'm thinking, oh, are they in tar pits? I'm like, no, it can't be tar pits. It's got to be a swamp. But it was a tar pit. And the rest was sort of like, okay, I kind of could guess what was going to happen next. And like, sure enough, they get back, little footprints. Okay, tar pit didn't work.
Like the cat came back the very next day type thing. Like it just will not go away.
Definitely. And I think it probably is inspired by that story you mentioned, because it sounds like it's almost a template for this, but instead of it just being a terrible child, it's a terrible little monster.
Okay, so our next story, Bad Seed, was pretty interesting. I didn't really see this one coming either, but it's this weird twist where we have carnivorous pumpkins. I don't remember if there's an actual reason why, but they've been genetically altered flesh-eating pumpkins going around terrorizing the town. It's kind of like Little Shop of Horrors if Audrey Jr. were able to get around more easily and wreak havoc on the entire town type thing.
You guys carving the pumpkin and you're thinking, okay, this is called Bad Seed, so like it's got to have something to do with the pumpkin. I wonder, is the pumpkin going to be bad luck? Is it going to be alive? Are other pumpkins going to come after this guy for killing a pumpkin? And no, it's just the pumpkin bites the guy's head off, literally. I'm like, okay, that's a direction to go. I like how it sprouts little leg things, little leg vines.
Well, I think it fits the tone of the film. Like it's still very campy. The title of the short film is pretty much a pun, but I like how it kind of works in with the wraparound where you kind of get references to the other stories.
It was a nice little wraparound, for sure. And I like how, okay, it brings it, like what they did correctly with this one is they brought it back around to the fact that, okay, there's a woman telling you the stories about the town, or she's talking about all the bad instances in the town. So we're in a town where all these stories take place. They're not just things that are taking place randomly all around the country. It's in one town. It's like I like how they brought that back to the core of things.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. Kind of like how you get all of these little references at the end, and it's kind of like, this must be like a really bad luck town, or who in the world knows what goes on. But you would think that they would leave every Halloween instead of sticking around if there's a history of bad stuff happening.
Yeah, like when they just take a vacation, it's like all the people that live in Haddonfield. Why stay there? Michael Myers is going to come around every year. Take off for the weekend. So you'd think they'd come to their senses, but I guess then we wouldn't have a movie because there'd be no fresh victims. You need fresh victims in a horror movie, even if it is an anthology. And it was a nice story, and like you sort of know where it's going towards the end, but it's still cool because like you got a pumpkin running around biting people, and anytime that happens, it's Halloween. I mean, nothing says Halloween more than killer jack-o'-lanterns.
I liked that little twist. I wasn't expecting the revenge of the pumpkins, but I guess it makes sense because we massacre pumpkins every year. So it's kind of like, how do you like it? But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I really don't have any complaints about it. There were definitely stories that I didn't like too much, but I wouldn't say, oh, I hate this or it ruined the film.
It's no creep show, but it'll get the job done if you want to watch something on Halloween that's Halloween themed, and like it had some pretty good stories.
But that is all we have for you guys for today, and we will talk to you later.